Hey After Effects users, Noel Powell here with creationeffects.com. I've got a new effect for you. I called it Scribe, and it lets you make realistic brush strokes in After Effects. It's just $19, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. This will just be a quick tutorial on how to use it. It includes both an After Effects project file as well as 2 animation presets, which you can install and then easily apply it to a shape layer anytime that you need a stroke in After Effects. The effect comes with lots of different preset looks, so you can quickly choose various brush strokes or a fountain pen or chalk or pencil or spray paint, and the strokes follow a path that you draw with the pen tool. There's also an optional stop motion effect to give it that choppy hand-drawn animation look. As you can see, they've got these parallel streaks and they can have variations in the width, like calligraphy style writing. To customize it, it's got a bunch of simple controls so you can quickly adjust width or color, or give it behaviors like make the stroke start out wide and dense and then scale down and fade out at the end of the stroke. So lots to show you, but I'll go pretty quick here and let's get this party started. When you open the zip file, you'll see the project file here, as well as 2 animation presets. I'll put up the location of the folder where you should put these files in Windows to install them. I'm on a Mac and I'll just show you where they go on a Mac. Just go to your applications and whatever version of After Effects you're using and presets. And then you can make a Creation Effects folder, because these are all the free effects that you can download from creationeffects.com, and there's just no reason not to go now and download them because they're big time savers and they're 100% free. The most popular one is this Afterglow preset. It's for getting a better glow in After Effects, so it's like deep glow but free. But anyway, I'll drag those FFX files in there, and I'll open the Scribe project file in After Effects 2024 or later. If you're already working in a project, you can just import this project into that one by going to File and Import and File. So there are 2 layers here in the project, this basic stroke and then the one made with the echo effect. The echo effect is the high quality one, but it's also much slower. And I made an animation preset for each of these. So let's have a look. For the presets, you apply them to a new shape layer, not a shape layer that has a path or a shape on it. So I'm going to hide this instructions layer, and I'll go to Layer and New and Shape Layer. And you'll find the presets in the Effects and Presets panel. You can just search for Scribe or Brush, and we'll add the basic one first. And it'll put all these effects on the layer, and it's a hot mess, so I always close them all and then just open the customization controls up here at the top. And there are a lot of controls here, all organized in folders. The preset put a path on here, and you can take your pen tool and adjust the points on the path to make whatever shape that you want. Or you can delete points and add new ones. And if you prefer to just draw a new path, just double click a point to select the whole thing and then delete it. And make sure that your pen tool is selected, and then you can just draw your new path. And newer versions of After Effects automatically gives it a fill and a stroke, which is kind of annoying. And you'll need to delete those. So expand the layer, and then Contents, and then the Shape folder, and delete both the stroke and the fill. And let's just take a quick look at the controls. I don't need to go over all of these. You can play with them to see all the things you can do. But most importantly, we've got these presets up here. So you can try these out and get different looks. As you change the presets, it will actually change the values of a bunch of these red slider controls down here. But you could still adjust these values to tweak the look of the preset. Like down here in the wave controls, this preset sets the amount to 15. But I could just click and enter a value of 20 to add 20 to that. And then every time you try a new preset, you really should reset those values back to 0 by clicking this reset button so that the presets look like they're supposed to look. It's all written in this instructions folder here to remind you. And I'll show you the stop motion effect here too before we move on to the echo effect. Just open these stop motion controls and you can turn it on with this checkbox, and you can set the frame rate here depending on how choppy you want it. And you can adjust the amount that the path randomly changes shape on every frame here. And if you want to animate the path shape, you can do that by adding keyframes on the path itself in here. And I'll go forward and change the shape a little bit. Alright, I'll create a new shape layer again, and I'll find my Echo Brushstroke preset this time. And for this preset, it's going to start the write-on effect wherever your playhead is. And if you start here, for example, it will have to do calculations for that echo effect on every frame leading up to that starting frame. So you always want to start it on frame 0. So I'll go to the beginning of the comp and add the preset. And again, I'll close everything and just open up my customization controls. I'll hit the U key on the keyboard, and you can see the 2 keyframes for that write-on effect. They're on this control named stroke completion. So to make the stroke write itself out, this gets keyframed from 0 to 100%, and then you can change the speed by adjusting the keyframes. I'll make sure I'm at the end keyframe so that we can see the entire stroke. And right away you're going to notice how slow it is. What's happening is we have a paintbrush texture moving along the path, and I'll click this preview brush checkbox so that we can see the brush. It looks like this, and as it moves, it leaves a trail of copies or echoes that form the stroke. The echo effect is the best way to create this paintbrush effect in After Effects, but it's an old effect and it hasn't been updated, and it's even kind of glitchy. But I did build in a feature that should fix any glitch that you encounter. I'll show that at the end. Now you don't have to use this write-on effect in your animation, but this layer does require that the paintbrush texture moves along the path, because that's how it can create the stroke using the echoes. But if you don't want that write-on in your animation, you can just trim off the beginning of the layer. Alright, same as we saw with the basic stroke, you can edit this path with the pen tool, or delete it and draw a new path, and then just be sure to delete the stroke and fill. And up here in the customization controls, we can cycle through the presets. Make sure you're at the second keyframe so that you can see the whole stroke, and just find the one closest to what you want. You'll have to give it a moment to load. So these can be a good starting point, and then just adjust the controls as needed. Or if you go to custom, it sets all the values to 0 and you can just build it from scratch. Again, I don't need to go through all these. I think you'll figure it out when you play with them. But there are a few things I should explain here. So first of all, if you've made adjustments to a preset and then you want to try another preset, you'll want to reset the controls like I showed you earlier with this button. But just be aware that that will also reset the stroke completion control to 0, which adds a little keyframe. So you may need to delete that. So just be aware of that. Next, if I change the speed of that write-on effect by adjusting these keyframes, like I'll make it write out faster, and now the echoes get spread out further and we start seeing the individual echoes. So to fix that, you would go in here and increase this echo time amount to bring them closer together. And don't turn it up higher than you need to get the look that you want, because it'll make the whole thing run slower. Another thing, if I keep playing this after the stroke writes out, we run out of echoes and the stroke unwrites itself. So you can just crank up the number of echoes using this length control, but the more echoes it has, the slower it is. So here's a trick. You really only need enough echoes to last till the end of the write-on effect. So what you can do is pre-compose the layer, and be sure to move all attributes to the new composition. And now we'll add a time remapping to this layer, and then go to the end of that write-on effect and add a keyframe for time remap. Now hit the end key on your keyboard to go to the end of the composition and delete the keyframe that's there. You're basically freezing the layer after that second keyframe. So once it reaches that point, the layer can be as long as you want, and it won't take any time at all to render it. And then you can move the layer to start wherever you want. Alright, I undid all that so that we can see our controls again. While I'm on the topic of slow previews, I'll explain the glitch that I encountered. Sometimes I would try to preview the stroke after making some changes to the controls up here, and then the beginning of the stroke would just disappear, like it wouldn't render. And I put in the slider control, which it's not connected to anything. All it is a slider control that continuously changes its value. And what that does, for some reason, it forces After Effects to refresh the echoes on every frame. So if you ever see that glitch where part of the stroke disappears, or if the whole thing just isn't previewing, just come down here, change this value to a random number like this, and it'll force a refresh. It's just one of those weird things, and I'm sorry, that echo effect is a touchy effect. What I learned to do, and maybe you'll find that this works for you, whenever I want to preview my changes, I hit the home key and I wait for that little bar to refresh that first frame. And then I hit the space bar to preview. And for some reason, that seems to make it work better. Alright, just a quick run through these controls. You have 3 color controls here, but the black parts of the brush texture actually get keyed out, which is what creates the transparent areas for the streaks. So what that means is you'll mainly just adjust the highlights and midtones, and this third color control probably won't do much. In this brush control section, you can click the preview brush checkbox here, and it'll turn off the echo effect and all the other effects except for the turbulent noise, so you can see your brush texture and customize it. In the streak and texture controls here, you can adjust how much of that black is keyed out to create that streaky look, and you could adjust the roughness. And the last folder, Brushstroke Behavior, lets you basically program some automatic changes along the brushstroke. Like you can make the brush rotate as it moves. You can have it scale down in the first 1/3 of the stroke and then scale up or get more streaky in the last quarter or whatever. A lot of these percentages represent a point in time. So with these controls, brush streak over time, well, you set your streak amount with the controls up here in the streak and texture controls. And then down here, you can say, okay, I want the streak amount to be about 60% of that at the start of the stroke. And then it'll reach the full streak amount at 25% of the way along the stroke. So when the stroke completion control reaches 25%. And then you can also set the streak to change at the end of the stroke as well. With these controls, change brush every frame. It basically makes it work like the brushes in Photoshop. You can wiggle the scale and position of the brush really fast so that the echoes are all over the place, and it gives you a more random type of stroke. And that's about it. You also have these stop motion controls on this layer as well if you want to give it a choppy animation look. It's got a turbulent displace effect on there to make random changes to the path's shape on every frame. So that is Scribe. The link is in the description if you want to go get it. I originally developed this effect for the mixed media effect template for After Effects. That one is a huge collection of custom drag and drop effects for quickly turning your footage into a mixed media animation. And the custom strokes, they were just a tiny part of that. It's got all kinds of animated doodles, magazine cutouts, animated fonts, texture overlays, transition effects, stylized looks for your footage. Just everything you need to imitate a handcrafted scrapbook animation or a mixed media animation. So I'll leave a link in the description for that one too if you'd like to check it out. I hope the effect helps you a lot. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up or subscribe, and I'll see you at the next tutorial.